Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of The RoundTable. I am your host, Sandra B, and I have with me my lovely guest tonight, Nikita, aka Coach Enrich. I love that name, by the way. And y'all know how we do. I bring on guests and we talk about what they do. Y'all can ask y'all questions, get them answered in real time. If you're not watching live, when you do watch, you can still post your questions and we might catch them later. But make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share this because it might not be for you, but it could be for someone else. Hey, Christine, I already got somebody on. Hey, beautiful. She was my guest last week, y'all. Y'all got to make sure y'all following her too. Well, with no other Oh, Jesus, somebody calling me at 6:02. They know it's not our time. With no further ado, I'm going to let Miss Nikita introduce herself and let y'all know who she is and what she do.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. And I am Nikita Richburg, or Coach Enrich, and I'm a certified empowerment and professional life coach. And I specialize in helping women. And basically, we deal with a lot of rebuilding confidence, self love, self trust. But most importantly, we break the generational cycles in order for them to feel empowered and in order for them to move forward in life in a more healthy and wholesome way. So that is what I focus on.
Yes, and look, that's right in line. I know you're not really focusing mental health, but to me, this still focuses on the mental health. This month is National Mental Health Awareness Month, so I will have some more guests this month focusing on different areas of mental health. So this is a great way to start the month off. The topic tonight is healing is the strategy. You can't build wealth in survival mode. I don't care what nobody told you; they lied and she has the credentials to prove them wrong.
Mhm.
So
For sure.
let's start with some basics. What made you? Oh, hold on. Hey, Martha.
Hi.
Yes. So, what got you into this field? To want to be a life coach. It sounds like a lot to take on.
Well, I'll tell you. For me, it was my own healing journey. I started documenting my own healing journey on TikTok. And I basically just got, I had just gotten out of a relationship that did not work. And I was like, no, I'm not about to repeat this behavior. I cannot continue to go on this journey and date the same person in different bodies. So I had
Mm,
to do some work. I had to do some work. So it was like, what sign is on my head? Wait a minute. What sign is in your body? What signals are you sending out? What are you attracted to? What broken pieces do you need to focus on? And
mm.
that's where I started. I started documenting my healing journey on TikTok. I published my gratitude journal, and then I did 50 days of gratitude with Enrich. And while I was doing all this, people were in my inbox. I was getting phone calls, I was getting text messages, and they were like, can you cover this topic? Can you cover workplace bully? Can you cover this? Can you cover that? And I'm like, of course I can. And then I hired a mentor, and I was going in a certain direction. So I was like, let me see if there's somebody I can relate to who I feel like will understand me. And I actually hired a mentor and we talked through my reasoning for it. And I knew I wanted to be an empowerment coach because I'm one of those people. I'm gonna pour into you. I'm gonna hype you up. I'm gonna show you the mirror that you need to see so you can see your beauty. And you can understand what tools you need and how you can be the best version of you. So I started out with I did two certifications, the empowerment life coach and the professional life coach. With me having almost 15 years in the corporate world, I said, you know what? Empowerment, yeah, we can break these cycles. We can do this healing. And professional, oh, I got that. I got that. So yeah, that's how I got here.
I love it. You just dropped so many gems in that what you just said because it starts with us, doing what you are passionate about, and you went through your own healing, and you use that to want to help empower other women to get through their stuff, and then having a mentor. Oh my God, I'm so huge on mentors and accountability partners and coaches, all of that, because we need it. I don't care if you've been doing it for 35,000 years, you still need a mentor, right? I'm a firm believer in that. And with
Hmm.
you being a life coach, I know you tackle all of those angles with people. How long have you
Hmm.
been doing this?
So I'm gonna say, I launched my business last June, but I feel like I've been doing this way longer. when I think about how I've impacted other people and how people have, asked me for feedback and doing this, I'm going to say that I really paid attention. It had to be 2022 when I
Okay.
really first started paying attention to how I was helping people and how I was showing up and the calls I was having. And
Mm,
we were talking about childhood and how childhood correlates directly to how we respond today and how we perceive the world and why we get triggered. And what I started doing when I was having these conversations was being able to hear the child speak through the adult answers.
mm,
And then I would say, "Did you experience X, Y, and Z?" And they're like, how do you know that? I didn't say that. How do you know that without me saying it out my mouth? And I'm like, the answers are literally whispering through your adult answers. I can
mm.
pretty much figure out what's going on.
Right. That's oh gosh, that's so true because I'm on my therapeutic journey. I had a therapist for a few years now. I was one of those people that's like, I don't need no therapist. You know how we are. We don't do that.
Yeah.
But I was like, and then I was like, oh, we don't sit on no couch. Okay.
Right.
But
Right.
over the years, like it was a journey. And the first thing that they do is make you think back to your childhood because that has everything to do with who we are today, how we think.
Mhm.
If we haven't done any self-developmental things, if we don't have those mentors and coaches in our lives to get us through those things, we
Mhm.
will stay in that tragedy survival mode through the rest of our lives. And I'm just glad that
Mhm.
I started when I did. I wish I started earlier, but yeah, this is I'm excited. That's my first question. So, what does healing actually look like for a woman who spent years in survival mode?
Oh my goodness. It first basically looks like you sitting down and being honest with yourself.
Mhm,
You got to be honest. You got to be able to identify, hey, there's something I need to look at for myself. But then once you start to do that, you've got to figure out where are you going. You got to figure out, okay, so now that I'm sitting down and being honest with myself, I'm looking in the mirror. What is the next step? Well, I would say the next step is nervous system regulation, being
mm,
able to say, hey, this moment right here is very difficult for me. I'm hurting. My feelings are hurt. Maybe this is even painful. But let me talk about the facts. Let me validate myself for a second. Because if you don't calm that nervous system, you're going to land in dysregulation every single time. It's going
mm,
to block your ambition. It's going to block you building dreams and businesses. And you're going to stay in survival mode, which means that nothing will be fulfilling. You're always going to feel like you're reaching for the next dollar or you're reaching for that next level of success because nothing literally feels like it's sustainable. And so, nervous system regulation for me is huge because if you don't regulate your nervous system, you're always going to be overworked. You're
mm,
always going to feel underpaid
mm,
because you think that the strategy is getting to the next dollar. And then you find yourself burnt out, overworked, underpaid, exhausted, mad, angry. You feel like you thriving under pressure, but the pressure is the only thing your
mm,
nervous system has learned to respond to.
mm.
Peace becomes unfamiliar and you don't
Yep,
want to rest. You really feel like you're reaching for that next dollar because you're not allowing yourself to rest and
right.
breathe. And literally, something that I had to learn when you regulate your nervous system and you
Mm,
calm yourself down, you show up as the best version of yourself. I mean, there's other things that go with that. But let me tell you, me being able to look at somebody when they've offended me and say, okay, that's how they receive the situation. But if I know I did not mean it that way, I can apologize. But if I'm in survival mode and somebody responds because their feelings are hurt and I know I didn't mean it, and then all of a sudden I attack back, I go
right.
off, I start yelling, it's not regulating my nervous system. You just gave somebody else the strings to control your reaction. You're not in control of your reaction. So regulating your nervous system is a full scope of you resting in who you are and how you show up for your business, how you show up for your healing, how you show up for your family and yourself.
Girl, Lee, let me take a pause. If y'all are watching this, y'all need to tag y'all sisters, tag y'all besties. Y'all, if you don't need to hear it, your friends need to hear it. This is about to get real,
For
real
sure.
good.
For sure.
Lord have mercy. Girl, you are preaching to me. I hate that I never liked the, okay, you got to be the bigger person. And I'm finally at a point in life where I can be, what you call it? Like, I can be comfortable being the bigger person. It doesn't feel bad anymore. It's not like that kid in me. Well, not the kid, because I was a very passive kid. It was probably like fifth grade, fifth, sixth grade, where I started getting a little like leave me
Mhm,
alone.
mhm,
But as
mhm.
I got older, my patience got shorter, and I look, don't do me, I'm gonna do you back. But to be able to peacefully, just, it's a self thing,
Yep,
responsive people, like you said, it gives them that control. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I really understood how that works and how it affects me.
yep.
Okay, let me stop
I
talking now.
have a saying. I want to drop this. I'm gonna get out. I'm led to drop this in here. I've been having this conversation more and more frequently. Don't stand in the way of somebody else's karma.
Mm,
That address that it's meant to go to, you don't need to block that address. It don't belong to you. And that is a part of us being angry at someone else and owning that anger. We literally take that in our body and our body keeps the score. Get out of the way of that person karma. When they do you wrong, they do something to you, get out the way, which means setting a boundary, removing yourself, protecting your peace.
mm,
You ain't gotta play get back. Because what happens when you play get back is that something may come to you that you don't even expect to engage with.
mm, mm, mm.
You
So look,
understand what I'm saying?
stay in your lane.
A bigger loss. Create your own lane. Drive your speed and get out the way. It could end up being a bigger loss because you're saying, I'm gonna get this person back. Somebody cheat on you. I'm gonna get this person back. Somebody steal from you. I'm gonna get this person back. You're taking ownership in their karma.
Mm, mm, mm.
I'm gonna
Because
let that go right to your address. It don't belong at mine. Mm-mm. No.
let the universe pay you back, honey, because I ain't got time.
Mhm.
God, Lord have mercy. Okay, let's see. So why do you think so many women struggle to trust themselves even when they're doing, quote unquote, everything right?
I think that that comes from past decision making. So when I think about that, as women, we struggle to trust ourselves based on the decisions we made in the past, but we got to take it all the way back to childhood too.
Right.
We got to stop for a minute and say, how does this align with what I experienced in childhood? Somebody might have told you that your decision making was flawed, or you were crazy for seeing the world through your view, or you were over responsive or overreactive. So then you get up into adult age and you look around, and somebody else might say, oh, you're just overreacting. All of a sudden, you start to mute your feelings. You start to identify with the word crazy, emotional, too much. But you were never too much. You were just right for who you were supposed to be.
Mm,
Now, I just mentioned the nervous system regulation, which goes back to childhood, which is important for us as women. When it comes to us building our own self trust, it starts from us knowing I have got to validate myself. I'm not tripping. My feelings are valid, but what do I do with this now? You prove it in the real time. My feelings are valid. Let me go ahead and say I've survived 100% of the days that I've walked this earth. It
right.
may have been some challenges, but you know what? I made the best decision for me. So the facts are I'm stable. I know how to trust myself now. Based on the decisions I made, we don't make the same decision twice.
Right.
We rewrite and recreate lineage over here because I'm breaking generational cycles. But
Hello.
we also but we also learn that those things we experienced were not failures. They were lessons to apply us in getting to the next chapter. And then we got to keep moving. So we ace that because life is nothing but a big old school.
Right. That's all it is. Lessons to be learned. No losses in life, only lessons.
Hmm.
Yes. Uh, how has emotional trauma affected your client's ability to grow, lead, and make bold decisions?
I will tell you that the clients that I've had, you get very many different ones on different spectrums of what they've experienced in life and childhood.
Mhm.
And one of the main things that I do, I help them rewrite their inner scripts and their inner dialogue, which is directly correlated to something that has happened to them between the ages of 0 and 10. I have a section in my coaching package where we go ahead and we sit down and we write out all the things that hurt you between those ages. And we validate those parts of you that needed that love and needed those statements and needed that care. And then I have another visualization I do with them. However, emotional trauma is huge in women in general because we internalize things as little girls that we're supposed to fit into this mode and that's all it can be. And
Right.
then when we start to heal or stand up for ourselves, everybody tells us we're wrong, or we're supposed to be quiet, or we're supposed to be silent, or we're supposed to fit into a mode. And then when we decide we want to do something different, it doesn't feel comfortable. It may feel good on the inside, but everybody else is telling you that you're viewing it wrong or you're not doing something correctly because now you're starting to say no. You're
Right.
starting to set the boundaries. They think of it as pushback or you're not respecting them. And then it becomes a whole issue. And they're like, what do I do? Well, are you being disrespectful? No. Are you standing up for yourself and what makes you comfortable? Yes. Because
Mm.
boundaries keep healthy in relationships. And sometimes I do experience people who aren't ready for change just yet. And we have to address it in the best way for them. But in other times, they be ready to ride because they're choosing themselves. Like for real, like when they show up, they do the homework assignments. They reach back out to me and tell me their wins and their challenges for the week, and then they fully engage. I
Yes.
have had women say to me, Nikita, what did you do to me? Everything I asked for is falling in my lap. I didn't do nothing. We just removed your blockages, your thought
Hmm.
processes.
I need some people need to set up an appointment with you, honey, because
Come on,
they block.
come on.
Oh my goodness. Which leads to the next question.
Okay.
What are some common lies women believe that keep them playing small or staying stuck?
Oh my goodness. They're too much. They're crazy. They're too emotional. Um, over the top, too expressive. All of these things women have been told. But we got to step back for a second. We got to think about this for a split second. A lot of the women I know are more logical. They just know how to express their emotions with the logic. We have an inner compass, every single one of us, that only we can feel. Nobody else can feel it. So if something is uncomfortable to us and we raise our hand and say, this is uncomfortable to me, this is not what I'm used to, we get dismissed, we get deflection, we get gaslit, and we get manipulated to be the problem. And
Mm,
oftentimes it gets internalized and it starts from childhood because a lot of the ways that a lot of us grew up was the child is not supposed to be heard. You're not supposed to have no emotions. You're just supposed to fall in line with what you're told. Your feelings didn't matter. It was
mm,
you just listening and being under control. So then you raised in this home where your voice is muted. You grow up and go out into the world and you date somebody who does the same thing and you think it's normal because you experienced it all your life. And it's not normal to mute yourself. To have a secure and safe relationship means you have a safe space to express your emotions at a level that is heard. It doesn't have to be yelling, it's communicating dialogue. And in families where emotional intelligence is not invested or it's not there, they
mhm.
think that conversation is confrontation.
Oof,
And
child.
it's not. Having the conversation is not the confrontation, it's getting the solution. Hey, creative unicorn. Hey, girl.
Yeah, I don't know how she sound, but all I heard was "That's my friend. That's my friend."
That's her. That's how she said it too. Hey,
That's how she wrote it. I was like, "Yes, I'm feeling the vibes." Hey, girl, where you watching from? Well, go ahead. You can talk.
girl.
I'll post.
It's okay. But no, like we get told so many times we're overreacting or we're over the top. Our emotions belong to us. It's actually the yelling that's over the top.
Right.
It's not how you feel. If you are yelling your message gets lost in translation and it's very hard for you to come up with a solution. That goes for men and women.
Mm,
If somebody raises a concern, that does not mean it's confrontation. That's dialogue. If you didn't mean it, that's your space to apologize. And if you meant it, that's your place to double down and then have the conversation. That's one thing about me. You can bring me a concern. If I did not mean it, I'm apologize. If I did mean it, I know there's a whole nother dialogue that's gonna happen. Sorry, but that's kind of how I meant it. So it's coming from a place of love
right.
because if I care about you, we got to raise this concern and have this conversation. Lack of care means I'm walking away. My nervous system is regulated. It's absolutely regulated to the point where I can verbalize what I need to. But if somebody's yelling at me, oh, it's time to go.
Yeah. Because they're not listening. I deal with
Message
that
is lost.
daily basis, and I try. I talk loud, but you can tell if I'm yelling at you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not healthy at all. And like you said, the message gets lost in the volume because you're communicating louder with everything else except your words,
Mm-hmm.
although you're saying it loud. Oh, yes, sir. This is good to me. If y'all ain't getting down what she putting down, I sure am. Oh, wow. Okay, we got a long comment here.
I
She said,
got
I
y'all on
guess
the
y'all
Bluetooth
listen while I'm
while
cleaning.
I'm
Yeah,
cleaning.
we are conditioned to accept all of that because that's how we were raised. And for me, I wasn't traumatized as a child as far as what people usually think of. But baby, the yelling and cursing and shoving and throwing that ended up being my normal. Yelling is that thing that I will never tolerate again. Yes, I know
That's
that's right.
exactly right.
I know that's
Yes,
right.
friend.
Where we at? Okay. Can you talk about the connection between our inner voice and our ability to take action in business or life?
I sure can. That inner voice is that blockage. When I tell you your inner dialogue is everything, if you say you can't, you won't. It'll show up in your 3D just that way. The way that we think has a way of showing up in front of us. So
Mm,
if you think you can, if you know you can, if you say I can, I am, I do, you're rewiring the thought process that you were conditioned to have. And the conditioning is the part. So if you were told you're dumb, and I'm saying that I don't mean that, or you're not smart, or this just the way you interpret stuff, common sense, you ain't got no common sense. You're going to internalize that as a child, as
mm,
I'm not smart enough or I don't understand concepts. You're going to go out into this world. And the first sign of somebody saying you didn't get it right, you're going to beat yourself up because it correlates right back to how you were spoken to as a child. And
right.
so I know these statements come out so freely in the home, just in general, when something's not done right, right? It just comes out like, where's your common sense? You need to do da 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 da. It comes out. But to a child, to say you're not smart, to say you don't do anything right, to say, you're not adequate at getting these grades, it's internalized as I can't, I won't, I'm not good enough. And the
Right.
inner voice, when we get ready to, and I'm going to say to start a business, you can say, my bank account is not showing what I want it to show. But if you don't trust your abilities, and you don't love yourself and have faith enough to take whatever jump or leap that you're ready to take, because you feel it. A lot of times our bodies feel things before it happens. Our body can validate and confirm and give us the warning or give us the excitement, and we're like, something big is happening. We don't see it, but we can feel it, right?
Right.
But our inner voice leads to self-sabotage. It leads to defeat. It leads to us stopping ourselves before we really fully jump or engage into the abilities that we already were given.
Hmm.
We are talented as humans. We have everybody has unique ways of thinking. Everybody's gift is not the same.
Right.
And if we don't acknowledge what's holding us back, which is usually the inner voice and the outside noise, I say silence the outside noise so you can hear your inner voice. And once you can hear your inner voice, you can actually say, wait a minute, that's not true. I got an A back in the seventh grade when I took that test the first time. I got this grade on my ACT, my SAT. Wait a
Right.
minute. I'm not what they said I was. I passed this the first go round. I was actually successful when I made X, Y, and Z and was being creative and started my own brand and business.
Right.
And then you validate the things that you did do correctly and effectively. And you say, that must not be true. That can't be true because I got something that'll prove opposite. And you start to
Right.
change your thought process. Stop beating yourself up. Say, yes, I can. I got the proof right here. This paper, this certification, this degree. And if it's not that, your built business or your creative juices to go
Yes.
and create something else is your proof.
Mm-mm. Girl, spot on.
Hey,
Happy
Shanae.
birthday. I figured that was one of your fans.
That's one of my friends. My
Friend,
friend.
say I'm a fan of my friends.
Okay. We support, yes. We
Yes,
support,
we
we
support our
pour
friends. So
into and we love our friends, yes.
that's right. That's right. So, how do you help women start building radical self trust in a world that constantly makes us question ourselves?
Ooh, okay. So I will tell you, this is where my coaching packages come in. Because when I meet my client, obviously every single client is completely different. We did not all grow up in the same house. And even if we did, it was two people from the same house. They didn't view life the same way. And that's, I'm a whole groupie.
You said
Stop
a
it.
whole groupie.
Stop
I
it.
love
I'm a
her.
whole groupie. Stop it. No, but my coaching package is the foundation is laid. However, when the client comes in and they say, this is what I'm having a problem with, whether it's confidence, whether it's self love, whether it's trusting myself, whether it's negative self talk, whether it's money mindset or lack money mindset, because oftentimes we fall into the gap of what we don't have. And we say, well, if it's not one thing, it's another. I can't never do this, or this always happens to me. Instead of us thinking this way, we got to change that thought process. So when they come in, I'm already rewiring some stuff. We come through the gate rewiring. And I know I post my affirmations every day, but if you don't feel it in your body, it's not going to resonate with you and it doesn't speak to you. So that's not your affirmation. Affirmations are different for everybody. So if it feels like I am, this is where we start, right?
Right.
Saying, Shanae,
Hey,
hello.
yeah. Your friends lit. I like them.
It's so silly. I love y'all friends. Hey y'all. But so I start out with the affirmations because what first of all, what affirmations do is they rewire your brain and open you up to what you should be or what you are, what you say you are. It rewires your DNA. And so once we identify the things that happen or the negative self-talk, or we need to build the confidence or the self-love and self-trust, we also have to identify where did it come from? Was something said to you? Did you run into an issue at school? Did you run into this with your parent? Did your parent not validate this love that you needed or what you needed to hear in this moment? Or is there something else deeper, another form of trauma that could have happened that make you feel like you don't trust yourself or love yourself enough? Once we are able to identify that, we rewire that whole thought process. We rebuild them from the ground up, literally. We start with the love, but we break down all the walls. We pull back the layers and go straight into it.
Mm,
But while we're going straight into it, we're also doing self-love at the same time. So literally, while we're doing the ugly stuff, we're putting the love back in. Every single session, every single week, whenever they reach out to me, we're taking the stuff down, but we are building it back up at the same time, at the same level. It's tough. Certain things are so tough and they
right.
make you feel like, oh, do I have to touch this? We're gonna
Yes.
love on it at the same time. We
Right.
love on it and we break down the wall at the same time. Overall, for me, when it comes to building radical self trust and self love, we got to identify where it comes from first
Mm,
while we're building it up or before we build that solid foundation back. If there's a crack in the foundation, until we fill back in that spot, it's going to keep cracking. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
yes. That's correct. That's right. Because a lot of times people, you sometimes it takes going backwards to move forward, and a lot of people are afraid of that. Let me keep up with the comments, honey, because you can get. Oh, I can get in the friend group too. Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah, but I'm lit. I'm lit now. I'm very professional in post, but hey, I got a couple sides of me.
You'll fit right in.
Oh, yes, and being honest, doing stuff like that is so hard but important. I
It's
don't know.
hard. It's
I don't know how
tough.
these people sound, but I read it how it's put out there.
Yes, it's tough though. That's a true statement because
It
the
is.
thing about it is I can put it out there all day, right? But until you choose you, you're just going to look at me and hear my words and say, what's she talking about? But that was true. Wait a minute. I need to stop. And then for the people who get triggered when I say something, it's like, but I wasn't aiming at you. You weren't supposed to get hit. But now we got to sit down and we got to work on this thing.
Yeah, we got something there we got to tackle
There's
now.
something there that made you feel offended. Wait a
I
minute.
done
Let's
triggered some
talk.
trauma.
Let's talk.
Talk about why you feel like this.
Yep. You
Yep.
can't be calling me out like this because remember, okay. My friend right there,
Tell
she was
your
about to block
business.
me. She was about to block me. I gave her a word of advice, and I'm gonna give it short, friend. I'm not gonna go too deep. One day we was talking. I know this is the podcast, but somebody might need to hear it. Somebody might
Hey,
need to hear this. So
somebody's story,
I,
somebody else's
I
testimony.
said
Go
to
ahead.
her because there was something she wanted to do, somewhere she wanted to go. She wanted to build up. She saw her creative juices flowing, but something wasn't happening for her. It was not happening. And so I said, friend, have you ever heard that when you push one thing away, you're pushing all the good stuff that's behind it out of the way? I
Mm,
said, I'm led to tell you to sit still for a moment. Just sit. Just sit for a moment. And when you sit in silence, it's going to drop on your lap. It's going to drop. It's going to come to you. So, bye, Cam. They a mess in these comments.
who in the kid
They
know?
a mess in these comments. I said, the thing is, whatever is coming, whatever you pushing away, whatever you are pushing down, it's got something beautiful behind it. So if
Mm,
you push one thing away, you're blocking the blessings that come with whatever it is. And I
mm,
told her to sit down. I didn't know it had made her upset. I didn't know. I didn't know. I was led to share it with her. And I was making sure I had the right words because I wasn't trying to offend at all. And she did it. And when I tell you them blessings and them findings and that growth happened, and she came back and told me, said, I was just led to share it with you. I didn't know for how long, a day, 2 months, a year. I didn't know. I just know to tell her to slow down for a second, just sit for a second. Because what I do know is in silence, when we rest our mind and our bodies, things just drop in our lap and in our mind. Our next creative idea will drop. Once you clear your mind of any outside noise or any negative self talk, she's talking about, no, I was like, man, fine, let me sit down.
look,
But
I was like, and she rolled them eyes. I know she rolled them eyes.
but the beauty that came of that situation,
It
it was
was worth.
amazing when she tapped back in with me. I was so happy for her. When she tapped back in with me, I was like, I didn't know how long. I just knew sit for a second. I
Right.
don't know. But it was so beautiful. I was so happy and proud of her. I could see her rolling her eyes. Right.
Me
Right,
too. And I don't
Sinead.
even know her.
Right. And her arms folded, stomping her feet and everything. I can see
She might pop down right hard. Like,
it. Right.
oh my goodness. But that's the beauty behind it. You know, it's before any type of elevation to any next level, there's going to be that little area where we feel like things aren't going the way it should go. There's going to be pain. There's going to be loss. You know, sometimes isolation comes before actually elevating. And you have to cut off some people and get in the right circle because your circle matters. Like it really.
Hmm. For
Oh,
sure.
she was so right.
For
That's all
sure.
I do. Yeah, and it was that simple. You just had to do what she told you to do because she knew what she was talking about, won't she? So now, when she look next time she tell you to sit down, you just gonna say yes, ma'am.
I haven't had to tell her to sit down recently though. She doing good.
Look, the lesson was taken and she understood the assignment, right? And she ain't gotta go through
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Get
For
about
sure.
telling. Let me see here. Okay. In what ways have you seen women try to build while still bleeding emotionally?
We see it every day
Mm,
because we show up strong. A lot of times we know how to be the rock. We know how to be solid. We know how to fill in the gaps on any situation. And a lot of times as women, we show up in many different areas of life smiling,
right,
cooking, cleaning, supporting friends, and we crumbling on the inside. We see it every day, literally, where oftentimes we know thing though. I'm gonna be quiet. Spirit shows me that this new wave of people were here to help me grow. Amen.
That's right.
Alignment, being
Yeah,
in the right rooms and right spaces and places, and praying and saying what you want in your life, and you will see it. Them old patterns and friends will fall to the side, and you'll be trying to hold on to them, not knowing that that new person that is literally about to walk into your space is in alignment with where you're going and what you see for yourself. It's tough. Don't get me wrong. It's tough. But to be able to say, God, Spirit, Lord, universe, whatever you believe in,
right.
I trust that this is in alignment with where I'm going.
That's right.
And that's the beauty of it right there. And I personally, I don't believe in coincidences.
I
Everything
don't.
happens for a reason, exactly how it's supposed to. The lessons, the beauty, this journey is so beautiful. And I don't think a lot of people really see it that way because they're seeing the struggle mindset. You know, they're locked in that thought process. The beauty is actually in the journey, not in the destination of where you end up at.
Mm, mm, mm.
It's in the lessons we apply to get to what we want and how we see and view our lives and think. It's beautiful.
Right. And it affects everything. Like it really does. This is not just for business owners. This real life. Like this
Mhm.
stuff that she's sharing tonight can be applied to for anybody. I know she focused on women, but hey, this can go for the men too. So y'all, thank you, Creative Unicorn. She just tagged all her followers. Y'all continue
Oh,
to share this live. Cause like
yeah.
it's I don't I mean, I love the people I have on because I learn from y'all too. You know, that's
Mhm.
why I bring y'all on. And I feel like if it's something that can help me, it can definitely help other people. Or even if it's not for me, it's for somebody else. But even if it's one thing that somebody say out of this whole hour that helped, it's something that I can take away and apply it. And I'm enjoying this one. Between this one and last week, we've been talking about boundaries. We talked about boundaries last week. And this week, talking about breaking those cycles and dealing with your trauma. And, you know, man, this is good. It's really
Yay.
I will say more, but it's my podcast. I don't want to seem like I'm bragging. It's all you, boo. Like it's the guest. Look, I
Girl,
tell
you
you,
talk.
the guest makes this show, these podcasts, what it is because y'all are the ones bringing adding the value and sharing y'all personal stories and y'all expertise with people, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
If y'all don't appreciate it out there, I appreciate it. Okay. And that last question about when women we put on real bad. I know they talk about a lot of men, how the men got to be strong, but I really do feel like because we're looked at as the weaker or the lesser than, we really put on, and that it's a line between being strong and being like aggressive or being assertive and aggressive because we say yelling and talking junk and being smart at the mouth. Oh, because I'm a strong black woman. No, that's not a strong black woman. You are an angry black. You are an angry
It's
black
different.
woman.
It's
Different.
different. Soft life versus survival life is being able, that nervous system regulation will lead you right into the soft life. You will look
Right.
at things so differently and be ready to receive and say, here's a boundary for you. This is what keeps healthy in my space. If it, honestly, if this is where I raise my hand and I say I'm uncomfortable with how something is going, and then I see that there is nothing that helps us, nothing helps us get better as a whole, this is where I say, in order for me to get comfortable, my boundary is I have to remove myself. And that's not an ultimatum. Ultimatum is when you tell the other person what they got to do.
That's a
Unfortunately,
firm.
this is not working for me. I've raised my hand and I'm not a nagger. I'm
Right.
uncomfortable. So I've got to pour into my love and choose me because I understand what I need.
Right.
Time to get back comfortable. Oh, that's deep, especially in my childhood trauma. Getting older and finally understanding what my mom went through to provide as a single mother. This is huge. This
Yes.
this part is huge because now the way that I view parents, because I know generational cycles happen, but the way that I view parents is they do the best that they can with the knowledge that they have and the tools that they were given from their life's experiences and their parents.
Mm.
However, if it's not working for us, we are the one that has to break the cycle of what doesn't work. It's not about them. It's not about blaming. It's not about that. But when we raise our hand and we stand up and we say, hey, listen, it is time less than 2 hours ago, I realized this with a 20 plus year friendship is difficult. It's, I don't know which part she's talking about.
He was
I
referring
see
to
it.
this. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I see a lot of, I'm looking at all,
It's a
but
lot. They keeping this
it's,
comments
it's
going. I
okay.
love
I love the conversation though, for real, because it's
it.
real. As far as our parents and the generational cycles, they do the best they can with the knowledge that they have. And depending on, there's so much that can happen in the generational cycles and the trauma. I run into very many different scenarios. But when I think of parents, the ones that are active, the ones that show up, the single mom standing in for the father and the mother takes ownership in putting food on the table, the learning, the clothes, the life skills.
Mm,
That mom is taking on things that we don't know about. We don't know what trauma she's carrying, but she is trying with the broken pieces, because we all have our own story. She is
right.
trying with her broken pieces to love in the best way she knows how. We
Mhm.
don't beat up our parents for the generational cycles. Now, we can raise our hand and say what affected us, and we notice it as an adult, and how we show up, and how we're bettering the situation, and what we wished or prayed we would have received from our parents. That's the
Mhm.
conversation. That's the part. And that's not confrontation. That's conversation and dialogue to say, hey, this is how this showed up for me as a child. This is how it impacted me as an adult. This is the reaction that I had, and how I showed up, and how it hurt me. And I love you, and I wish I would have received this from you. And now it's time for me to rebuild myself up. That is how that conversation looks and how it goes. And that's the open dialogue. But your parents got to be able to receive it too. And I'm speaking to more and more women who are having these conversations with their children. And when they say to me, I sat down with my daughter, or I sat down with my son, and they said they wish they would have got this, and I didn't get offended. I heard
Mm,
what my
mm,
baby said. And I had to apologize because I was working 2 jobs and I wasn't able to speak to my child. And they just wanted to tell me about their day. And I beat myself up. And I didn't realize it impacted my baby like that. When I tell you, there are so many different scenarios of things that happen in homes, and how it affected the child, and how that child received that information and applied it to life. That's
yeah.
what I do. That's how
Mm,
we get to it. It's
mhm.
beautiful. It's difficult, but it's beautiful when you start working on it.
It really is. And like I say, it all starts. I love, like, you started this podcast off, like, it started with yourself. You know,
Mhm,
I'm a firm believer in, I believe people can help, but when you have the experience, then you can more so really relate to to the people that you're helping.
mhm.
And when whatever that we're doing in service, business, life, any relationship, I always look to add value, and I can't be valuable to anybody else if I'm not taking care of my mental, you know, and there's
That's it.
nothing selfish about putting yourself first.
It's
We talked about this
necessary.
last week too. Shout out to Christine Austin. She was viewing earlier. I know she got to do she jumped on here. I wasn't expecting her. She has to do her she has a presentation to do at 7. So I love to see her up here earlier. But she
Oh.
talked about boundaries and stuff. And I mean, it gets deep, and
Mhm.
if you really listen and take it in and self-evaluate, a lot of times you realize the problem ain't the other person that you're blaming it on. The problem
It's
is
not. It's your perception of how you've received it. It's
right,
you and how you respond and internalize that moment that we got to pay attention to.
right, right. And we have to know that we can't be afraid to communicate those things. Like you said, it is okay to be angry. It is okay to not agree. It's okay to feel however you feel. I'm always huge on a person's feelings are validated. I don't care,
Mhm,
because we can't tell someone how to receive what we do. But you have to also know how to communicate. Like you said, it's not a debate because we don't see eye to eye. Great. We're different people. I love that you don't agree. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Let's
mhm,
let's agree to disagree and move on to the next topic. We don't have to stay
mhm,
here and try to persuade each other.
mhm. It's
Uh,
when it starts getting out of hand, that's when the problem comes in.
we are the
When
common
you start
denominator
yelling.
in everything we experience.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because we show up in every single thing we experience. It's us. It's
Yes.
us and our perception and what we see is happening. Now,
Yes.
every now and then you come into a little headbutt with somebody, but then
Yeah.
that person that's trying to gain their control back, when they start being aggressive towards you, got to stop and say, they don't feel like they in control. I don't need to
Mm.
respond to them not losing their mind, because somebody yelling is them raising their hand and saying, I don't have control over the situation. I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable.
I don't know
But
what to do.
you get to this. That's what they're saying. Yeah, you talking to me like this. They're telling you that they don't feel like they're in control of your reaction or response with the situation. So you
Right.
got to step back instead of getting petty back with them and say, okay. You can even say, I didn't mean no offense. I can tell that offended you because you're becoming a little defensive. I didn't mean it that way. That's not what I meant if you didn't mean it that way. But to be able to have communication without the yelling is how you can get to the bottom of that.
That's right. That's right. 'Cause a lot of people just don't feel like they're being heard.
That's the main thing.
What would you say to a woman who feels like her voice doesn't matter or she's not worthy of healing? Some people
I would
really
tell
deserve the trauma that they're living.
I would tell her she's absolutely worthy. Just the fact that she exists makes her worthy of peace, to remove chaos, to remove that battle or that chain she's carrying on her back that she's beating herself up about. And how would I help her understand and hear her voice? I've never heard someone yelling described like that. I love it. But that's the truth, Shanae.
Yes.
They're literally trying to regain control over the situation. They are literally raising their hand and saying, I don't have control over your reaction, your response, and what's happening right now. I'm trying to regain control. I'm trying to take my control back, is what that yell is.
That's why I yell. I want you to shut up so I can finish saying what
I
I'm
can't
saying.
mess with you. I cannot mess with
But I don't yell that much anymore.
you.
And that's
Man,
but I'm working on that too. Because like I said, I've learned a lot. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, you found out. I mean, that was a good comment too.
Mm,
So if a woman is feeling like her voice doesn't matter, I'm going to tell her she's absolutely worthy because she exists. You're here in this moment for a reason. You are more valuable than you think. Then we
mm,
got to start doing the work so she can hear her voice. Because a lot of times we internalize the outside noise and we don't even hear our own voice anymore. You hear your mama, you hear your daddy, you hear that ex from 2 years ago telling you wasn't attractive. When you can go look in that mirror and say, baby, I look good today. This hair is fly, this makeup is fly, this outfit is fly, this body is banging, and pour
yeah.
that validation into you so you can start hearing your voice. Your voice is the only voice that you should hear when you're making decisions.
Mm,
Your voice is the voice that you should hear when you look in the mirror. Because again, that common denominator is that you wake up and you go to sleep with you.
mm,
You carry you outside the door. You carry you into your business and your job. You carry you into your friendships. You carry you into your relationships. The
mm,
outside noise, when it's just you, it don't matter. Are you happy with you? Are you proud of you? Do you see where you are successful and beautiful and right to feel how you feel? And if you have to set a boundary that involves you sitting without certain people and cutting certain people off to preserve your peace,
mm-hmm.
do that. Do that every time. One of my friends, I don't know what D is. She might be watching this. She said to me a long time ago, it was about 3 or 4 years ago, I don't care whatever it is, even if it's uncomfortable, do it for you. And it stuck with me years. It was years ago. I had just gotten out of that relationship and I was upset. And she said, you chose you. And this was years ago.
Mm,
I don't care how uncomfortable it is. I don't care how uncomfortable or you feel like it's not best. If you're uncomfortable and you have to make a choice, choose you every time. And it stuck with me. And it wasn't said in a selfish way. It was said in a preservation of self love, pouring into you and loving you type of way.
mm,
And that
mm-hmm.
stuck with me. It did stick with me. I hope she see this. I might send it to her.
Stick it with me. Look, it's gonna be floating around.
I hope so. I
That
hope
moves
the people
back
that need to
to
hear it.
the box.
I hope people that need to hear it hear it. I do.
Man, wow. You pretty much went through all the questions with most of the questions with just conversation, which is great. Let me know the questions is on point with what you do.
Yeah.
So the woman that's listening right now, or whenever they're listening, and they know that they're stuck, what is the very first step towards transformation?
Sitting with yourself and being honest with yourself. And I know we started with that too.
Right.
The honest parts of that look like, are you comfortable? Are you happy? Whatever the situation, it could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be your life circumstances or where you're at in the moment. Are you happy? If the answer is no, we got to get you to happy because you deserve to be happy. I don't care who it is. I don't care what they experienced in their past, their trauma, the mistakes they made. You deserve to wake up happy in your body. You're here for a reason. And for you to show up for your family, your kids, your spouse, whoever, you got to be the best version of you. So you got to pour into your cup and understand it's time to be honest with you. Choose you in order for you to be happy so you can show up. Other people can get overflow. They don't get all of your cup. Your
Mm,
cup is you, the beauty of your cup, your creativity. I don't know what she said to say someone. I don't know what she said, but the beauty is you. You wake up, you deserve. And like you said, if she's stuck, living the soft life, right? Living the soft life is receiving. It's receiving, but it takes you doing the healing to welcome it in. And if a lady is stuck, the first question, are you happy?
mm,
Then you got to sit with you. What does happy look like for you? When's the last time you was happy? What's going on? Where's your what do we need to pour into your cup? Back into your cup. Before you give to anybody else, your cup should be full. You deserve to be full. That goes for mothers, that go for daughters, that go for wives, whoever. Single people who showing up for everybody else. Be the change, flow in your lane, make the space. I know that's right. That
I
is
love
it.
that.
She
I
did that. She
think on
said
that
that
one.
change.
It sounds like
But
a shirt.
right? No, I feel like being honest with yourself. There was a period of time where I isolated a little bit, a lot of it, because I needed to know Nikita and what Nikita deserved and what she liked
Right.
without incorporating a man, the
Mm,
thought process of a friend, the outside noise. And I had to sit. What does Nikita like? Nikita likes her fashion, her creativity, being able to do my hair, being able to pour into myself, sitting around watching a movie, taking myself on a date, lighting a candle, reading a book. But
yes.
I had to know me to be able to list those things off the top in the first place.
Mm,
Instead of saying, I like to cook for anybody, the person I'm with or my family or whoever comes to sit with me, making sure that their stomach is full, loving on everybody else and pouring into everybody else. I can still do those things, but I still got to know what makes me whole because once I get to those people, if I feel empty, something's not right.
that's right.
And
And
Bible
Bible,
said the other night.
we
We
talked
talked
about
about giving from. Go ahead, you go ahead. I'm sorry, you go ahead.
we talked about giving from your overflow. We aren't supposed to give from our cup or it will become empty. We are supposed to give from our overflow. And that is, oh God, that's absolutely right.
She hit
Yeah,
it. She hit it. You're
y'all dropped.
not. Everybody gets the overflow. Your cup deserves to be full so you can be happy. So when you walk into a room and you're smiling, but it's genuine, nobody can take that from you.
Mm-mm.
Literally, when you walk into a space and you're so rested and solid in your body,
Yes.
your people can see that thing shining from the inside out, and nobody can take it from you. That's why I talk about self love. That's why I talk about self trust. That's why I talk about breaking generational cycles.
Right.
Because to be able to walk into any room, I don't care where you are. I don't care if you shouldn't even feel like you don't belong in that room. You should feel like you belong in every room that your feet touch. That's how much self love you should have. Not not over the top. I'm not talking about selfish, conceited. I'm talking
Right.
about confident, resting in your feminine energy, feeling whole, loving on yourself. So when you go back home, you had a good time and you still love yourself. You don't feel depleted. You don't feel overworked. You don't feel like, man, I shouldn't have gone out tonight. You feel like, I enjoyed myself. Let me
I know
love
that.
on me some more. Yes, the peace within stays within. That's right. But the people on the outside see it when you have it too. What you rocking today, Miss Fashionista? I done changed clothes like 2 or 3 times while we playing. I had
I
a
was
whole
seeing your
different
face. I was
outfit.
like, look at her. She is a fashionista for
I
real.
had a whole different outfit on today.
This is my second one. I went out riding a bike earlier.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh my God. Thermostat
Thermostat
energy.
energy,
Okay,
not therm. Okay. All right. That's a whole, yeah.
period. Y'all gotta come back every week. I love y'all.
Yes, they here. Okay.
The audience. Oh my God. So I'm sorry, were you finished commenting on
Yeah,
that?
I'm
Okay.
good. Yeah.
All right. I got one question that I ask all my guests, and then I'm gonna let you tell the people what you got going on and how they can connect to you and everything. Well, but first, let
Okay.
me ask this, because a lot of people hear life coach, and the first thing go off in their head is ching ching ching. Like, I can't afford a life coach. So without giving your price unless you want to, is it affordable for the average person, or
I
do you have
feel
any
like
type of arrangements? I don't know. Like, I don't.
so personally, I keep hearing I need to raise my price. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I keep hearing that from people who, when they hear what I give, as far as when I channel with my clients, I pour
Right.
all in. Like I pour all in. They get all of me in their journey
You're giving
because
a lot here. I mean,
yeah, I
you know,
cater to their needs. Literally, like it's individualized. I personally feel like I don't mind discussing. She's about just book
no,
her.
that's why
I
you
don't
you
mind
better
discussing payment
promote her.
arrangements. I don't mind discussing that, but my price is set based on my worth of what I give. Even though I keep getting told you need to raise them, you need to raise them, you need to raise them, but I still want people to reach out, and I still want people to choose them. And I discuss different things, but right now I'll tell you what I'm offering right now, and we'll see what you think about it. So I'm very transparent. If somebody asks, I'll tell them. If I'm gonna get my nails done now, I'm gonna get my mental health right. That's a whole nother thing that I'll be saying too. You'll go out and buy you a Rolex, you'll go out and buy you a Louis, you'll go out and buy all these things, but you don't want to get this right first. You can continue to buy your Louis after you live in your body in the
People think that's
healthiest way.
therapy, though. People think that's shopping therapy.
Oh, that's that temporary high that you get
That's
when you
that
cha-ching,
temporary.
and then you go home and it's over and you got to go cha-ching again. But when you get this right, you can go cha-ching when you get ready, but it's not going to come as fast as you think. You're going to be
Exactly.
happy and fulfilled. You can go get that Louis when you get it, whenever you feel like it. But China done gave the secret on that too. So you know what? I ain't even gonna talk about that. But I'll tell you what I'm offering right now. So I'm offering my 5-week intensive currently. And I had it lowered and then I bumped it up to its value. But what I'm offering for women now in leadership groups, in sisterhood circles, and different things like that, I've marked it as 50% off. The
Okay.
original price on it is $9.97 for 5 weeks. And
Okay.
I've marked it as 50% off for these groups per person.
Okay.
So if we really do the math, that's about 100 per session, but you get me on a Zoom call weekly. You can talk to me on Voxer or email. You get the weekly check ins. You get access to me if you run into a crisis,
Mhm.
like the tools, the prompts, the homework. You're equipped with tools that you are going to use well after that. But it is
Right.
intensive, it is doing the work, and you show up for yourself. And that's what
Right.
I'm offering right now. I always tell people to start out with my free clarity call. There's a reason for that. Because if I'm not aligned with you, I'm not here to sell you a dream. I'm
Mhm.
not here to sell you false hope. You choosing you. I'm
Right.
not selling you a life coach. I don't sell me. That's one thing about I'm not selling me. I'm here to present to you that you are capable of doing it. I provide you the tools. I provide you the outline. I provide you the structure and the foundation. And I am the example of how it works.
I
And
know
a lot
that's
of times, I don't know how people perceive or view things. I just know I'm confident, I'm happy, and I love on myself. It don't take outside noise, it don't take external validation. It takes me loving on me. And I'm my brand. And that is what I do. Literally,
girl.
literally.
I'm gonna have to get a video that drops the mic because we be having some drop the mic moments.
A mess. A mess, a mess, a mess.
So how can they how can they take advantage? How do they book you? Is it your website or
Okay, so my website is theenrichlife.com.
okay?
And I just changed that. So being in tune with building a legacy and building my brand, I trademarked generational cycle breaker because
Okay.
it is a movement. It is a standard. We are
Yeah.
rewriting lineage from here. Then I went ahead and trademarked Coach and Rich. This is not a phase. This is a lifestyle and a standard. And this is exactly what I do and how I help people.
Mm,
Then I trademarked the Enriched Life because overall, that's not even a phase, that's a standard. You get to see how I view and live life and walk confidently in how I help other people. This is the whole standard. We break those cycles. We rebuild that self trust and that self love, and we set the standard for how we move through life and how we see ourselves. And it's beautiful. So, building legacy, that's what I do. Setting standard and rewriting lineage is what I help other people do. And we are cycle breakers. And that's
that
the
is
thing.
that is what you do. That's gonna be that's the line. That's the one liner for this for the episode tonight. And that's what I do.
um, my Instagram, my Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok is Coach Enrich.
I need to. I wanted mine to be one name for everything, but it
Mhm.
was taken. I'm gonna have to find one that is because this is so simple. Like being able
Okay.
for all the social media platforms to be the same name makes it so simple. I mean, everybody can search me by my name, Sandra Brooks, but I need to find one that sticks like that. I love it. Hold on, let me
Yeah.
hit the B boys. Don't look, don't tempt me.
That's so loud.
Y'all look crazy. I love it. It's Friday, y'all. It's Friday. This I like to have fun on my podcast. So I love people
Mhm.
coming in with their energy and we can just relax and have fun. Cause I mean we ain't got no guidelines to go by. I ain't got no rules.
Mhm.
We're just here to share information and network and have fun. And your email address, did you want to share that?
Yeah, you can share it.
Okay. So y'all
Coach.enrich@gmail.com. If you need me, if you got questions, if you want to ask more about the 5 week cycle breaker intensive for your female groups, your friend groups. I
mm,
mean, I
grab y'all
just, I,
toxic circles.
yeah,
grab
I mean, no, for real,
y'all
because the
and
thing
book.
is, you're building on that sisterhood. So even still, like the leadership groups and the women that you trust, and we're doing a cycle breaker intensive. So it's like, why wouldn't you want your support group
Right.
while you're making this change? Because it's beneficial. You got somebody, obviously you can lean on me, but the people that you know who are wanting to change and they see themselves going further than where they are, do that thing together. Rock
Right.
solid. But like I said, I discuss prices too. I don't have a problem speaking with people based on life circumstances
Right.
because life happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And that's just it. But if you're choosing, you can reach out to me and talk to me. I love to see people choose themselves as far as I don't want to create or continue to do the same thing over and over. My life has shown that this is not working. How can I work with you? How can we work this out? And I don't have a problem having that conversation because they're choosing themselves.
Right.
And that's important.
Mm-mm-mm. I done forgot to ask you. Let me ask you this question. My last questions I ask everybody. I love what you got going on. This is
You.
awesome. Community, the world needs more of you. you know,
Oh,
And I
thank
tell
you.
people, I know we can't help everybody. It would be wonderful if we could, but we need more people doing more of the same thing to strengthen and rebuild the community. And it starts with us.
Hmm.
That's what it starts with. But out of everything that you're doing and what you got going on, I know you're fresh in business in your first year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Officially, a lot of us walking in our purpose and doing the work before we get the title. So,
Hmm.
um, what is your ultimate end game?
My ultimate end game is for everybody to see the need to break the cycle. Not that
Mm,
we're pointing out the negative things, but to be in a healthier mindset. The thing about mindset work is it leads up to business work. The thing about mindset work is it leads up to healthy relationship work. The thing about mindset work is you break the cycle, and your children and your grandchildren have healthier standards and live a different life. My goal is that everybody says, I want to be a generational cycle breaker. The enriched life is the standard. Wait a minute, we're doing enrichment, we're empowering, we're talking about wellness and growth.
Yes.
Yes, that's building legacy, that's productivity, that is building emotional healing and loving on ourselves. And those that are coming behind us get to embrace and learn and live that. That's
Right.
what I see for us, but we gotta start by choosing ourselves and identifying what doesn't work. So the ones that come behind us, they're not fighting to figure out how to do this work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's true. I love it. I love it. Is there anything else that you want to share with them before we end this? Oh God, this wonderful episode.
I'm just trying to think because I'm thinking about we joined this talking about healing as a strategy and building wealth in survival mode. First of all, let me say this. Wealth is not in how much you have in your bank account. Wealth starts up here. Your thought process is your wealth. What you think needs to be in your bank account will align with your mindset. I'm dropping a gem. Literally, what you think, you attract. Don't beat yourself up. Change the thought process. When you change your mindset, your bank account will change too.
Mm-mm-mm. Sorry, I've shared the wrong comment. This is so
You
easy. I'm
good?
here. I forgot to
Is
scroll.
it?
Oh, she came in. It's okay, boo.
Oh.
You know you can catch the replay whenever you got time. Grab you a drink and sit down and sip some wine and listen to this because you're gonna get you some good laughs and some good information. She was another one of my guests on the show too. So I love y'all. Y'all coming back to support.
She said, listen. She said, listen. I can
Yeah,
hear
there
her
we go.
now.
I'm clicking too fast. Yes, I love it. Nikita, I appreciate your time tonight, love. I really do.
You.
You are welcome back anytime.
Yeah.
I'm only one guest that I didn't tell that to.
Lord.
Hey, some of them invite that stuff back before I get to tell them, which is even better. But it's one
Okay.
like she ain't asked. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
Only
I
name
get
of
it. I get it. I get it.
thank you. Because one thing I cherish time. So, I ain't gonna hold you no longer. If y'all want to be a guest on the show, if y'all have topic suggestions, please reach out. If y'all follow me on social media, you can inbox me or you can send an email to join the roundtable info at
Mm.
goodoldgmail.com. Okay. So it's Friday night and it's 7:09. I'm gonna let y'all go and do whatever y'all gonna do for the rest of the night. But make sure if you have not hit subscribe, you subscribe. When I hit more subscribers, I do like to give away money. So keep following, keep tuning in, keep sharing. The more people that we can reach, the more people that we can help. So come back next week, same time, same place, different face on this side. All right. Y'all be easy.